and welcome back to the Film Appreciation Podcast.
The second installment.
The
return.
Yeah,
exciting.
We received a lot of good feedback, and we're keen to keep going with stuff. I am your host, Nick, by the way, and I'm joined by Isaac and Marlon.
Mm.
And just a little warning, in this Film Appreciation Podcast, there will be spoilers, if you didn't already know.
Nah,
And
no
so
way,
with that-
How can we talk about movies without spoilers?
Yeah, so
Use your brain.
just in
kids.
advance, everybody. And with that, let's get on to the first film, shall
Let's
we?
get on to the first film. Let's not waste any time. So the first film that we watched this episode was Creed 3, directed by Michael B. Jordan. Pretty big deal, I guess. Big thing.
Directorial debut.
Directorial debut,
Yeah.
that's exactly right.
Although there were other directors.
Yeah, but they don't matter.
Okay, no.
Come
Just Michael B. Jordan.
I didn't
Come
even-
on, let's be real.
So, yeah, very exciting. Obviously, Creed and Rocky movies are very popular, and this is the third one, hence the title Creed 3.
Yeah.
What do we think of it, guys?
My first and sort of last impression on all the Creed films, but this one particularly, is just wow.
They are good, eh?
They're pretty fun.
Yeah.
For a film that kind of centers around boxing, I think they're pretty damn good.
And they do exactly what they try to do, you know. They know what type of movies they are. And you can see that because, like, we'll get to this later, but the plots are never anything overly extravagant. They're just there. They do what they need to do, and they get you immersed in the world of Creed.
One thing I've found so interesting, because I haven't watched all the Rocky movies. I've seen a couple, and then I've seen all the Creed movies, and they're all structured more or less the same. It's always just building up to a fight. No matter what, it's gonna have a fight.
See, and that's the thing, they do a little bit differently with this one, where they have, instead of it just straight away, he's this villain character with Dame, where it's just they're gonna fight. It's kind of like you think, oh, he's his friend and he's gonna help him, and
Well, I think if you think that, you're a little bit naive.
yeah,
You always know as soon as this character's introduced, that's gonna be the plot. That's what's gonna happen.
See, I knew that was gonna happen, but at the same time, it's I don't know. You still have a different feeling towards the character because he has this sort of more nuanced take.
Yeah, it's a tried and tested formula at the end of the day, and it works.
And that's what I was going to say about it working is even though you know exactly what you're going to get more or less when you go into one of these Rocky movies, is you're going to get this big fight at the end no matter what, right? And yet you still get so hyped up and excited for it, and the good guy never really loses.
Yeah, that's the other thing is that he's gonna win.
Yeah.
It's oh
he's
my
gonna
god,
win. I'm guaranteed he's gonna win. There's no other way it's gonna happen. This isn't Avengers Infinity War or some shit. And it's we're sitting there, he's gonna win. And yet, as the fight's building up, I remember sitting there going, "Damn, oh my god!"
Yeah.
On the topic,
this fight is happening, bro.
On the topic of the fights, how good was the direction for the fights?
Yeah,
I didn't really know this going into the movie, but he obviously took a lot of inspiration from anime.
Yeah,
And
he did say that.
Yeah, he said
in the news,
that.
yeah.
So that's and you kind of notice that with because I'm not a big anime guy. I never really watched any of it. But if you look at comparisons, it's very similar in terms of just how the scenes are set up and the shots they use.
Yeah.
Especially the slow motion, where it's his POV on which part of the body to attack and stuff is that was so good.
Some of the hardcore hits as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
dude,
There's that part where he landed that uppercut into his chest.
Yeah.
It was slow-mo as hell.
yeah, it was so creative, and just enjoyable to watch those fights
Yeah.
because it's something different, but it's still doing that same stuff well.
One part of the fights I really liked was the continuous shots. So
Mm.
there was great editing in there.
Yeah.
To keep it going the whole time. It just breathes you into it.
Is that they do that in the first Creed movie as well?
Yeah.
They might do it in the second one. I can't remember.
the second.
I just remember that
The
being.
first
I remember when I
scene.
watched that, and that was one of the main takeaways of fucking how good that was.
I'd say also speaking of the previous Creed movies, one of my favorite aspects of this is even though it's the same formula or whatever, the story and how it's set up and
especially
what's his name, Dame?
Yeah, Dane.
Yeah, Dame. Him as a villain, I thought was so interesting because it was the first time Creed wasn't ripping off, well, not ripping off, but just doing something straight from Rocky. It's the first Creed.
Because the first
Creed
well,
movie is just Rocky.
Rocky's not
1.
even in the movie.
I know, and that's what
We'll
I
get
think is
to
great.
that,
That's what I think is great.
Yeah,
But Rocky 1 and Creed 1 are the same thing, more or
Yeah,
less.
it's
It's the same. It's the exact same story. He
It
goes
takes
12
the same
rounds.
beats from.
He goes 12 rounds at the end, but doesn't win. But goes 12 rounds, and so impresses everyone. He's this up and comer fighting this big legend, whatever. And then the second Creed movie is just Ivan Drago's kid,
Yeah.
which is
Getting
like
his revenge, bro.
it's getting his revenge, and like it makes sense totally for like them to do that in the series. But at the same time, it is just another Rocky villain again, but like a different one. And this one, as we said, Rocky's not even in it.
And he's not even the same sort of type of character.
No.
Well, he's
much
pretty much starts off with him being retired.
Yeah, well, he is retired.
Yeah.
He takes the Rocky mantle as the coach and trainer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what I thought was so great about it. And like, I enjoyed I really enjoyed Michael B. Jordan, like the way he would set up these scenes where it was just super simple. Like I remember one of my favorite scenes was when Damon just got into the film and they were sitting in that cafe. Remember? And he was just talking. And it was like just two shots, one of him, really easy. And I was so engaged with it. I was like, this is like a brand new thing. And I think it also had some emotional weight.
Definitely.
Like more than him getting revenge on Ivan Drago's kid. Because I was like, or just a couple of mates. You don't really see that a lot of movies anymore. Just two male friends.
Just the boys.
The boys.
Film associated with.
Yeah, and then that ties into the theme of what it means to be a man.
Yeah.
Which surprisingly, for a movie just about fighting, is actually a very nuanced take. Sort of, especially they bring in fatherhood as well. But like the idea of you can't just always fight physically.
No.
You have to sort of emotionally battle too and be open in that regard. And that's okay. That's the other point, is that's okay, and that's necessary to be a man.
Yeah.
Which is, I think, a great message.
Oh, I agree. You've got to be open in that sense. And the use of family really brings that out in this film.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought Tessa Thompson in it was great. She's always good in it. And again, like I just enjoyed, because I'll say right now, I actually think this is my favorite Creed movie.
Really?
Which may be a hot take on something.
Well, see, I would have to rewatch the other, because I didn't rewatch the other two before this.
But it is because like I felt like in this one they finally stepped away from
the shadow of Rocky.
Yeah. In the same way, like what's that the new Spider-Man movie? No Way Home. No Way Home. The one that came out a couple of years ago. The reason why I also liked that is because in the previous ones he was always looking up to Tony Stark. You know, he's like Tony Stark to people, and then in that movie he's completely on his own. Tony Stark was ages ago, and this is like a similar thing in the way like he's much older. He's gotten away from Rocky, and yeah, they did a really good job at like investing you in this story.
Yeah. Well, on the point of the emotion that we get invested in, I think they use flashbacks really well as an exposition instead of just what could have probably been crappy dialogue. Because it really painted the picture of that situation, you know, the poor teens face themselves in as kids, pretty much.
Well, I think they do. I mean, I can't speak for this because I haven't lived in that environment, but I do think they do a good take on sort of coming up in I guess the hood. Yeah. It's in LA, yeah. So it's like that environment, and it's tough, obviously. I mean, and it shows how they can get led astray. And how that can how they can have such a promising future, and then it goes nowhere. And I mean, if you look at Creed as well, he gets his chance because he's the son of Apollo Creed, you know. Whereas Dane was, by all merits, the best amateur fighter. I think they say that in there.
Yeah.
But then he still went nowhere. He didn't get his opportunity, and I understand that's why he's so upset. And then especially, I'm sure he blames Adonis for the fact that he started the fight with Leon. And he got himself into trouble, so I think that comes into it. And I think that's obviously why Adonis, apart from just running away, feels so much guilt, because he was the one who started that fight. So it's like, a lot of this is all because of me.
It's also just a really sad thing for like the reason for that fight to have started.
Yeah, that was fucked. I mean, I understand where you're coming from, but from where Adonis is coming from, but it's also like, it's not the right thing to do.
And I loved that scene where he turned on Adonis, if you will, and like didn't he punch him or something at the beach? Yeah. I thought that scene was great. I thought Jonathan Majors absolutely killed it, and I would say even though Dame was new to the series, he was probably my favorite character in it. Like he had by far.
I love his facial expression there.
Yeah, he's great.
It's so good.
You know, he's been having a good.
He's fucking huge, bro.
Good time. He was.
Well, there's been a bit of news recently about theorized news about John over in America in an assault charge.
Oh yeah.
So We won't really delve into that, but you know,
I didn't even know that.
he's taking his boxing into
Did you not know about
into the real world.
What happened?
He he got arrested because he assaulted his
Oh
girlfriend.
shit!
Yeah.
Why does that happen so often, bro?
It's
Well, apparently,
so
I actually
fucking
read.
dumb.
I think I read it today or yesterday that his girlfriend dropped the charges or something. Well, someone who
Okay.
accused him dropped the charges because
Yeah,
there's
let's
like
not make any.
there's like
Yeah,
video,
but
it's like video evidence of him not
okay,
being
Okay,
there
that's
at the
good,
time of
yeah.
the assault. Or
that's
something.
so.
because you never want to hear that,
But I
particularly
thought-
considering how well he acted in this film.
He's very good.
But
Yeah.
I
I
was
haven't
thinking,
seen what do you call it? So I don't know how good he's in that
Ant-Man,
as Kong. I've seen him in he's in like,
Kong,
what's his name?
Kang,
Kang. Yeah.
It's like King Kong, bro.
and in Loki though, I've seen that.
Loki, yeah.
In Ant-Man, which was absolute garbage. Was
Is this the new Ant-Man?
The new Ant-Man.
Yeah,
A
yeah,
steaming pile of fucking feces, shit, disgusting. Have nothing good to say. Except,
We'll get on to Marvel soon.
except like Kang in it was fun.
Hmm.
They didn't do like, which probably shouldn't be talking about Ant-Man at the moment, but like at the end of the movie, they kind of fuck over his character, like so you're not intimidated by him at all, and it was kind of whack. But beforehand, Jonathan Majors like did a fantastic job, and I was thinking that like, what a legend! He's come out of like fucking nowhere, and he's in main bad guy now in Ant-Man, but for like all of Marvel really
Yeah.
going forward, and he's this huge bad guy in Creed.
Yeah, the antagonist.
Antagonist.
Yeah.
But he's an antagonist, but I almost took him in Creed like an anti-hero. I didn't actually think what he was doing was wrong other than him being a huge dick to Adonis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even
I mean,
though, fair enough, Adonis just ran away, left his ass.
but that's, to be fair, I feel like the majority of people are doing that.
Oh, yeah, I know.
Who the
That's the
fuck
thing.
isn't?
Very
Who
young
the
kids.
What the
Yeah.
fuck else is he gonna do, bro?
But no, I totally get why he did it.
Yeah.
But like, come on, if your mate still ran
then I
away
think-
and you got arrested, you'd be
I think it's
pissed.
the fact as well that he didn't contact him
Yeah.
in prison,
And he
obviously
got
'cause
and he got very successful from boxing. And he was
Yeah.
like, "That's supposed to be me."
Yeah, it's the
It's-
jealousy aspect.
Mm.
But in terms of the technicalities of Creed 3, I thought the lighting was beyond amazing. In the mansion particularly, just had the amazing
Oh, yeah.
low lighting.
Great.
Mm.
And just that house in general.
How nice is that house? Bro?
This
Yeah.
house was nuts.
Like,
That's bullshit house, bro. That can't exist.
the bathroom
It's
scene.
insane.
I had that. So,
Sorry.
I know I've talked to you guys, and this is a small tangent about Succession. I've mentioned it. A fantastic show. Go watch it,
Mhm.
guys, if you haven't seen it. But in Succession, like every time I watch that show, every episode, because it's about these billionaires, and it's shot like in New York, in LA, whatever, at real apartments and houses and shit. And I go, how do people live in these fucking places? And it was the same thing in Creed. Like his house was so nice, and I was like, where is his house?
Infinite rooms,
in LA.
bro. Infinite
In-
rooms.
It was crazy.
Well, I was sort of just like, one of the scenes where Adonis is like really struggling going through it,
Mm.
and he's in the bathroom, right?
Oh yeah.
Do you guys recall that scene?
Is that when she?
Yeah.
was in
She
the back?
comes in, yeah.
Yeah.
She comes in.
She comes in and
Like,
it's like, oh, what's
check
the
on him,
problem?
like,
Yeah,
you're
yeah,
gonna
yeah,
have to
yeah,
talk to me, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Sure.
I'm like, okay, this is really emotional, but I can't stop looking at how bloody big the bathroom is. Like, I was like, this mirror is
Dude,
longer
him
than-
being rich takes away from the movie. Bro.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, speaking of like shots, the one at the end where after the fight between him and Dame, where Dame's like in the locker,
Yeah,
locker
yeah,
room,
yeah.
he's walking in. And have this, you have like the split sort of shot.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I liked, like, it could have had such a cringy ending, which sometimes, like, some of these Rocky movies can have,
Mm.
especially with the bad guy, because it's like, oh, I'm bad, fuck you.
And
Right.
but this is the thing,
But
is-
at the end, they were really
because it,
understanding of each
but
other.
that's
I
the
thought that
thing
was
with
cool.
when you get, and this is something that a lot of people who actually fight professionally say, is like when you get in the ring with someone, you have respect for them.
Yeah,
So after the fight, you went fucking head to head.
yeah,
You're
exactly.
gonna respect that person, even if you
Exactly.
have all this beef with them. You're gonna still respect that they were willing to fight you over whatever it was, or just to
Yeah.
fight in general. So
Mm.
you can see that at the end, like obviously they're not gonna just be like completely over all their past grievances. I mean, nobody fucking works like that. But there's the respect sense there.
Mm.
And from there, you can build a new relationship. I would say.
I will say though, I was a little bit disappointed in the ending. In the sense
Sort of
that it's just,
anticlimactic, or
it's really predictable.
yeah, but it's
But it's that's inescapable.
the whole movie was.
What's he gonna do?
but-
Get killed
okay,
in the ring?
In the
End of
same
Creed?
vein, when what's his name, Drago's son gets like his
Yeah.
arm broken,
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I immediately was like, oh, it's gonna be Dane.
Yeah.
You just knew that was the
Yeah.
case. Like it's just that stuff
I was-
is obvious, but it's also
It needs to happen.
like
I
it's
guess.
also okay because I feel like it's not trying to be a movie that is like misdirecting, like you know what I mean, like
Yeah.
where it's trying to have you guess where it's going.
I guess at the end of the day, it does leave with a good point, though.
Yeah.
I did hear though as well that they think that they want the franchise to like focus on his daughter.
They're gonna do it.
Which I
so
think-
they have the Rocky series.
Continuing on.
There's supposed to be a fourth. I think.
Apparently Creed 4, and of course this is just like speculation, but apparently Creed 4 is going to be about his daughter.
Yeah, you do Rocky, you do Creed, and then you just do what's his fucking daughter's name? Whatever her name is.
She's dead.
That's the fucking name.
I don't think that's her name, mate.
No,
Definitely.
but that's
Another scene I particularly really liked was the Chavez dude's walkout scene. Bright colors exploding, the Mexican mask.
That was pretty cool.
Oh, yeah,
It was
I like
really
that.
cool because obviously you had such low lighting for other walkouts and just the boxing sort of scene in general, and just have bright Mexican flavor added straight into a walkout of all things. So
Back to the topic of like names or whatever. How fucking badass is the name Apollo Creed and Adonis Creed?
Yeah.
Those are like Apollo Creed genuinely might be like, if it was a real name, the best name ever.
I think we
It's
said
right up-
this to each other.
yeah, it's
You
right
just
up-
have to name your kid.
It's
that.
right up there with like Christian Dior and like Yves Saint Laurent and stuff like that. Like those kind of names are just like insane.
Yeah.
It's such a good name. Like what's his name? Sylvester Stallone.
So that's
Yeah. I don't care. You could have written the worst movie ever, and if the character was named Apollo Creed, it's still the best movie, bro. That's such a good name. Like, how the fuck do you just think of such a genius name? It just sounds like a fucking badass motherfucker.
Yeah.
Anyway.
It's taken from Greek mythology in class.
That's what I mean. No, because it's
Yeah, so
the
cool.
Adonis and Apollo from
Yeah.
and Creed is just a fucking cold name. Like, anyway.
Clearly playing Assassin's Creed rip off.
I did do some research on the Stallone sort of issue.
It's
you know,
yeah,
still
it's a
one of the main
contract thing.
producers?
Well,
Irvin Winkler.
No.
wasn't it?
Stallone's still one of the main.
It's something to do with like
yeah, but Irvin Winkler's the guy that he's having the
Yeah.
contract
okay,
problems
so
with.
one-
the
because it's
dispute.
all about like ownership of the character. Man.
Well, it's because so this is what happened because this is an interesting story. Is that like so Sylvester Stallone wrote the script back in the 70s.
Yeah.
No one's going to produce it because he said if you want to buy my script, I have to be in it.
Yeah.
And this guy Irvin Winkler or whatever bought it. Was like, yeah, I totally want to get this made. He like mortgaged his house on all this shit. Like he did all this stuff with it. But in doing so, he got given the rights, like sole ownership of the rights to the Rocky series if it became successful, which I think is very fair enough deal
Yeah.
because no one else is
If you
giving.
invest
Yeah.
No one's giving him Stallone
Yeah.
money at the time.
Yeah.
And like as time's gone on, like Stallone in the last like 15 years had a pretty dog shit like career. Like nothing's really happened other than like doing Creed reboot.
The fucking Suicide Squad.
He was in
As
that for like
what's
2
the
seconds.
shark.
Yeah,
Isn't that King Shark? Yeah.
I love
Actually,
that.
Go to
that
go
was
to
good.
character, bro.
Fair
love
enough, that was
movie.
good.
Yeah.
But you know, he's done fuck all.
Mm.
And so now in his late years, because I don't know how old he is, but like full is old. He's saying, "Oh, Owen Winkler should just give me the rights so I can give them to so I can leave something to my children." And I'm like, bro, you're Sylvester Stallone. Like, that's enough.
You're giving Stallone
your,
name, bro.
your kids will
Well, didn't he
be
have a son
employed
pass
forever.
away, though?
I
I
don't
have
know.
no idea,
I
man.
think he had a son pass away.
I don't even know that much about him, to be honest.
Which is
No. I just know the story because it is
Yeah.
interesting. But yeah, I mean, overall
well for Creed.
for Creed.
I want to touch on quickly. I think some of the family scenes were overacted.
Well, I was
Which
gonna
one?
say,
The like
just
with
like
the mother.
Yeah, well, even when the daughter's in it as well, I think.
Oh wait, do you mean between like Creed's Adonis's family, or do
Yeah,
you mean like
Adonis's
including,
family.
or just when he's with his?
Not with his mother.
Okay,
I think that portrays like sort of family.
You mean
angst
that-
and fights.
So you're
So
saying
like
the fighting
husband,
scenes?
wife, yeah, their arguments. I think it's a little bit overacted.
I don't know. I don't have a wife, so I can't comment on
Well,
what a fight with her would be
It
like.
just seemed over the top. I don't know. Obviously, that would be.
I don't know.
I do. Have
Oh, how is it?
I have 8 kids.
How realistic is it? Is it
It's like
spot on?
super spot on.
Oh,
Just fights all the time. I'm always like, bro, I'm the boxing champion of the world. I have to.
Speaking about the fights in the movie, I like that there's a sense that like they are fighting, but they don't really mean it personally in a way. Like they don't mean to offend each other. It's like they genuinely want
that's
to
the
reach
only reason why, like, and of course later on it's resolved, but like he gets all major douchey Dame to Adonis.
Mm.
And I was like, why are you being a prick? Like, all you actually want is to be a good fighter. It's kind of irrelevant about Adonis and shit. Like, I don't know. I wasn't fully into it. I was going to say,
psychoanalyze him, bro.
I was going to actually say to you, with regards, because you said you really liked the flashbacks.
Yeah.
I wasn't hot on the flashbacks.
Yeah.
And I'll say why. Like, I'm fine with flashbacks in movies, but I feel like emotionally, I would have enjoyed if they, at the start of the movie, if they just showed the whole flashback straight away.
Okay.
And then in that way, not only do you have like more information than some of the characters in the movie, so you're kind of ahead of them, but also like you're immediately invested in the story. And then Dame shows up, you know, at the start, he shows up in that really cool way. He's leaning on his car and all that stuff. And you'd go, damn, this is the guy, like with all this history. But throughout the movie, instead, you're kind of just like chunkily given the flashbacks.
Did they reveal like that it went bad, like to the point where Dame was going to hate him before or after like the twist?
No, so what happened was at the start of the movie, you just had that flashback showing that Dame was a fighter, and then it just showed Adonis fighting. And it was not until way later where I think it was Tessa Thompson was asking like, what is the problem with this guy? And
so they might have done that just to have the twist, sort of, oh my god, nobody expected that.
But that's the thing, like, I think twists work sometimes and twists don't work sometimes.
And
that wasn't really a twist. It was just the characters finding out information.
In a sense, it wasn't even a twist. It was just the plot moving forward as it was always going to move forward.
And I was going to say, because as we were about to record, I thought about this. The first Black Panther movie that he was in, Michael B. Jordan was in. In that movie, I had the same problem because they do this like big twist throughout the movie where you find out that Black Panther's dad killed Michael B. Jordan's dad, and that's why he hates him, right? And I feel like it would have been way better at the start of that movie if you knew this instantly. You know, it's. I think sometimes giving the audience the information straight away.
You could do like you do that, and then you do like the Creed 3 like title card comes up, and then the movie.
Well, you're like, oh my, like you know who Adonis is, and he just runs away.
You could
the night.
You can almost like just re-edit it that way and see if that would work.
But I just
sit down for a couple of hours.
I feel like it just immediately, because that whole thing is really engaging as a character emotion.
Yeah.
And if you immediately knew that at the start of the movie, I feel like you'd be even more invested. So again, as I said, Jonathan Majors shows up, boom.
Yeah.
You're like, damn.
On that though, interesting you brought up Black Panther because a lot of the writers and directors.
Yeah, well, Ryan Coogler directed Black Panther, and he co-wrote Black Panther, and also did Creed 1.
Yeah, and this one as well.
Produced.
Yeah. So yeah, it's funny that you say that.
He just clearly likes writing dumb twists.
Yeah.
Poorly laid out twists.
I still think I'd rather the flashback in any instance than some exposition through dialogue.
No, I agree.
I think that's
I definitely agree.
Universal.
But that's like just exposition through dialogue. He's just like, oh, remember when I left you?
It's like a bit like
it's so boring.
Yeah,
it's
like,
like
it happens
I don't
too
care.
much. It happens more than it should. When there are tools like flashbacks.
Because it's so easy, bro. It's so easy to just go, oh, this happened.
Yeah.
My God.
And guess what else happened, guys?
It's terrible. You should
rather than like
care about this, please.
Rather than like, oh, what actually are the details? I need to fucking think about it. No. Just some vague statement which can get the audience to think about it themselves. We'll do that.
Yeah, get out of here.
I
do you have any other thoughts on
that? No, I don't have
Creed?
much to say. I feel like that's pretty extensive coverage of a Creed movie.
Yeah, as sort of far as you can go.
Had a lot of fun with it. What do we rate it, Marlon?
I gave it an 8.
Gave it an 8.
I loved it.
I gave it an 8 as well.
You gave it a 7.
Okay.
There we go.
Oh, really? So you gave it a 7. What did you give the other two? Because I gave the first Creed a 9.
Yeah,
like I genuinely.
When I first watched Creed 1, I think I gave it a 8. I think. Okay. And then I rewatched it and gave it a 6.
Damn.
I do not think it holds up.
I might have to rewatch it then.
And I don't remember anything about Creed 2. I think I gave it a 7 as well.
I gave it a 7. Yeah.
But yeah, I'm going to give this one a 7. It was solid. I enjoyed the hell out of it. Yeah, I didn't have many problems with it. It didn't blow me away in anything, which is why I'm like giving it an 8 or higher is kind of where I'd be going. It really engaged me, but I was like, I had a lot of fun with it. It was well done, well written, whatever. So it's a 7 for me.
Yeah, fair enough. No, I loved it and happy with an 8. I think you can't really
Would much rather
films much better than
would much rather blockbuster movies like this instead of fucking Ant-Man.
What other boxing movies even are there? Like, there's obviously Raging Bull.
Raging Bull.
I completely forgot about
classic.
Raging Bull,
Bit
but
of
that's
a different vein.
different movie.
Yeah. I don't know. There isn't much to compare it to.
Yeah, and it's good because they kind of.
Baby boxing.
I don't even know what the fuck that is, bro.
No.
Never heard of that,
Right,
bro.
yeah.
This cunt's making up movies, bro.
Oh, freak, bro.
He dreamed it, bro.
I think, and that's what's kind of cool about the Rocky movies is they're kind of a nano genre in them themselves. You don't really get any sort of sporting blockbusters other than these. And as I said, like it's a lot better than fucking.
When are they gonna make the
Disney garbage?
When are they gonna make the World Cup movie, bro? Dude, that would actually be a cold movie. Like, just like
some serious drama in it, man.
You have like some shitty country wins the World Cup.
Oh, like the Sanchez
and
football
England has to come back and claim the title.
Santiago Ramirez? No recollection.
I don't know.
The goal film.
Oh right, yeah. No,
I don't know shit about
you've
soccer.
seen Shanghai Soccer?
Shaolin Soccer. Yeah, that is Shanghai Soccer.
It's the Chinese connection, bro. It's
Shaolin Soccer.
Shaolin Soccer. You've seen
funny movie.
Funny movie.
They need to make a movie like that, but like World Cup edition. Anyway, next movie.
So I introduced Creed Barry?
Yeah. The next movie is Empire of Light.
Empire of Light.
Directed by Sam Mendes. And
a great director. I mean, let's just get this.
1917.
Amazing.
Slapper.
Brilliant.
American Beauty.
One of my favorites.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah. And now we have
Skyfall as well. I know you can't haven't seen James Bond, but Skyfall is great.
And now we're on to Empire of 5 different movies in one.
Empire of Shite.
Empire of
Yes.
Empire of just questionable movie making. And you know, in the same vein as last week, as what do you call it? After Sun, which was another very personal film.
Yep.
I, after the fact of this movie, found out that it also was a very personal film.
How?
Okay.
So apparently, his mother had I think mental health issues or something.
Yeah.
Something like that. Don't quote me on that, but I saw something saying it was also a personal film in that regard.
Yeah.
And also, it's a product of the lockdown. So if the lockdown didn't happen, he would not have thought about all these things and wouldn't have written this movie.
Right.
So should we say
why it's such a jumbled?
Yeah, should we say that he went fucking batshit insane in his solitude?
I feel like I should probably, I'll say quickly, describe to people what this movie's advertised as.
Oh, what is it advertised as?
So it's like essentially it's about a love story in an old theater between two people. That's what the movie.
The movie's tagline. This is all it has on Letterboxd.
Okay.
A love story set in and around an old cinema on the south coast of England in the 1980s.
So
that's
so much fucking garbage.
And the craziest thing about it is I would say that the love story is one of the, in terms of the overarching strong themes of the movie, is one of the undertone, like it's just there.
Underlying.
Yeah,
It doesn't
underlying.
really say much.
Speaking of the love story, what the fuck?
Dude, I wrote
What
that.
the
Dude,
fuck?
fuck me.
Within 5 minutes, these characters hit each other.
We watched it together. And we were like genuinely looking at each other and just going, "Are you as disgusted as I am by what is happening?"
So you've got like a late middle-aged woman.
And hey, we have nothing wrong with whatever you're into, but it's just the way it happens in the movie.
These
It's Predator vibes, guys.
They meet each other, right? And then not even 5 minutes on screen time later. I think it's even earlier than that or sooner.
I don't remember, bro. It just
They're
comes.
making out with each other.
It just comes and it's
So
dude.
So for people who again don't understand, so the woman who falls in love with the man in this movie,
Hillary
Hillary
and Stephen, yeah.
So Hillary is like at least in her 50s.
Yeah.
She old, man.
She's so fit, bro.
She-
The fittest old woman ever.
Dude, this is
That's why Stephen won.
She's some bootlegger old woman. Okay. She old. Okay.
Hey, calm down. We don't. Let's not hurt her feelings
she's-
if she ever watches the podcast.
I doubt it.
Olivia Colman loves
Olivia
faps.
Hold on a second as well. Olivia Colman
She's a
is a
fapper,
great
bro.
actress.
What else has she
Amazing.
been in?
So I don't know if any of you have seen the movie The Favourite.
No, but
Your
didn't she
Ghost
win
I
an
Hate the Most.
Oscar for that?
Yeah, she won an Oscar.
She's
She's
in-
an amazing actress.
Right, she's in Puss in Boots.
She's good.
The Lobster.
She's an amazing actress.
Hot
Like really,
Fuzz.
really good.
I can see it being that.
But she's in the movie. She's in her mid-50s. As I said, she old. And the Stephen, who I forget who he's played by. Who's he played by?
Michael Ward.
Michael Ward. Okay. So Stephen, played by Michael Ward, literally has like just got out of school. He's trying to get into university.
Oh, yeah, it's true.
He's like 19.
You know what's crazy is I like didn't even really clock how young he was.
Yeah, no, he's like
He's so young.
30 at least.
And you know what? That makes
It's
so
so
much more
weird.
sense why his mum, the
Is like
nurse,
so
is even like more like
Oh,
what the
it's-
fuck?
Yeah.
It's
She's
such a what the
she's like,
fuck.
bruh.
And I just don't understand it. It's like no matter which characters, like actors or whoever you picked, when you've got this massive age gap, why?
And the
would we
thing
be
as well is that he
invested?
could clearly like he's like the other like they set up that he's like that women like him, judging by the fact that the
Yeah.
other character, I don't even know what fucking name is.
Hillary.
No, the
young
other
girl
girl,
with the
the
music
one who's like
that's always playing.
yeah.
they set up the fact that he's an attractive man,
Yeah,
and
she's interested in-
and you know he clearly has options, and he's fucking gone true Hillary,
Yeah.
bro.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
it's
Yeah.
This
He's
woman,
a young,
manager.
this
young, good-looking bloke.
dude, maybe he's just
he's gone for this.
he's
chick.
just a power hungry man, bro. He's like I
He
need
wants
to.
be manager.
He needs to just
Me-
climb the fucking
Yeah, but
corporate ladder of the
little
cinema.
does he know what happens when he gets her job, bro.
Oh.
He has certain meetings he has to attend.
Oh, no.
Colin Firth, you
Yeah.
dirty freak.
So that's the movie
yeah.
starts.
I want you to suck me off.
Exactly. The movie's like it does not give a good starting impression. You got this chick who's with Colin Firth, and he's getting a wank.
Fuck yeah, bro.
In his office.
Yep.
And again, as we were saying at the start, this movie is about a million different things. And I said as well, I don't care how well you write the love story, and I didn't think it was well written at all. But even if it was super, super well written,
Yeah.
the fact that there's this age gap is just so weird
It's
that
unsettling.
no one would ever get invested in this story. Like, I'd challenge anyone to actually be like, wow, that's so touching, bro.
I've heard some people have actually like have liked the movie, like genuinely.
I do not understand.
But I don't know if-
understand.
I don't know how they come into it. They must be watching it like either not realizing the fact or not caring.
Well, was
I don't know
was
which
it
is
the
worse.
very first scene was the Colin Firth scene, or was there like an introductory shot of the cinema?
Oh, it's just like, the
I feel like-
cinematography.
Yeah, of the cinema.
Speaking of the cinematography,
Well, it was
that's the
fantastic.
saving
It was done
saving
by-
grace, really.
Yeah,
Roger Deakins, like, and again,
he's
technically,
done amazing things.
the
Yeah.
movie is really, really well done, and the actors are good actors,
Yeah.
all of them. Colin Firth's great actor.
They act
Olivia
well.
Collins great. Michael Ward
They
was
do a good
fantastic.
job. They do a good
They're
job.
given a poor sort of story to work with, I think.
The story is just absolute nonsense.
It's a mess.
It's a mess. So I'll try and track roughly what happens in the movie. So you've got a cinema that's old. You got these people there. There's a love story. They give medical help to a fucking pigeon.
The most
What the
important part of
fuck?
the movie. Because you know
I'm
what?
sitting there 10 minutes in. She's fucking.
It sets up how nice and great a guy he
He
is.
takes his sock off and sticks it on a pigeon.
He cuts
And
them
I'm
on it.
And I'm like,
Or
yeah,
rips them
mate,
off.
that's really going to help this. Like,
Pigeon just starves to
pigeon.
death. bro.
It's so stupid. And you got this. And then it progresses to this workplace drama crap, which eventually results in Hillary leaving. Turns out she's a schizo freak. I thought that was
I think you'll find, Nick, that
She has a mental
the part
illness.
of the point of the movie is that we need to
Be more
accepting of
and
mental health.
people need to be open and
I'm sorry,
seek
but
help for that.
I mean, you can be a schizo freak and
they were trying to. I'm sorry. How can you not call her that? That scene was so weird.
What-
She's
what does she
mental
have?
ill.
Is it
I think-
bipolar?
I think it is
because she like has
bipolar,
the
it's the manic snap.
yeah,
outburst.
and she has
Schizo-
psychosis, which is what
yeah,
happens.
Schizophrenia is more you're seeing things.
Right.
She's
Yeah, or hearing
as far as
things,
I'm aware,
hallucinating.
yeah,
solutions.
hallucinating.
Yeah, it's
As far
definitely
as I'm aware,
bipolar.
it's the outburst because she
The
freaks out.
sandcastle's the best scene, right?
Yeah.
It's like,
yeah
look at this amazing
when
scene.
they're at the beach together.
She's just
And
beating
that's-
it up.
that was-
And then she has the
What are you
low
doing?
right
You're
after
in.
of just crashing on his shoulder.
But that was the thing that was so bizarre. Is again, they don't at all until like halfway through the movie tell us that she's got schizophrenia.
Well, to be honest, I was watching and I didn't realize that she was mentally unwell.
Was
I
it
just thought
me
she,
that
I thought she just,
told you?
I thought she was just like legit
a bit sad, bro.
messed up a little
Yeah.
bit.
Yeah.
I can't
But they
remember.
didn't
I
tell
think
us
I
at
let it
all.
over to you,
And
yeah.
she starts beating the shit out of this fucking sandcastle that
That
they
they're
made.
making on a date.
And it
Like,
was
I think
bizarre.
as soon as that happened, you kind of realize,
Yeah.
like, oh, she's not well,
yeah.
but you don't necessarily realize that she's bipolar.
I will, let me just, for disclaimer purposes, if you have schizophrenia, I don't think you're a freak. That is unfortunate. And
It's just that
and you should seek
Hillary is
medical
a
help.
freak.
The movie is very dumb,
It
and that's
portrays her and
and
that's
it portrays her in not a very realistic way. So I'm saying that
Well, I don't know
Listen,
many
we
people.
can't really.
I mean, have you seen Kanye West, bro?
that guy's got schizophrenia.
He's got bipolar.
That's not schizophrenia.
Yeah, but she doesn't have. She's got
She's got
bipolar.
bipolar.
She's got
Yeah.
but she has schizophrenia.
Do they say she's schizophrenia?
He literally was like, "Bro, you're schizophrenic."
Are we sure?
Colin Firth,
I don't know.
remember at that point in the movie?
Yeah, but-
Oh,
Oh, true.
is that just an insult?
Yeah,
though?
let me
Or is-
search up
No, he was like, "You have schizophrenia. You are crazy." Type thing. Like, that was the
schizophrenia
statement.
symptoms: hallucinations, delusions, disorganized thinking, lack of
Yes.
motivation,
Okay,
slow
yes.
movement,
Okay.
Yes.
change in sleep patterns,
Yes.
change in body language and
Search up what
emotions.
Hillary had.
She had schizophrenia.
But
Didn't you just say the whole movie is about how Sam Mendes' mom had schizophrenia?
Oh yeah, no,
Bro,
no. I said
she
mental
clearly
health,
does.
mental health problems.
She
Okay.
clearly does.
Colin Firth.
Go.
That sent me at the start. But before that, when it was just the introductory scene of
She has bipolar.
Yeah.
She has bipolar.
Okay.
It says she's
So
bipolar.
Colin Firth would have just used that.
He just would have said it because he
What?
doesn't give a
As an
shit. Do you think he
insult,
gives a shit?
Well,
This guy
he's
is
a dickhead
I'm
the entire
telling you,
film.
This,
So
no,
he doesn't-
No, I just want to tell you how much worse it gets because he knew, right? Because remember how they say, "Oh, the social work people like
Yeah.
we gave you a job to help you, and I was looking after you." This motherfucker was abusing her then because
Yeah,
he was
that's messed
fucking.
up.
Oh, I didn't even realize this movie
so
is
he's a
fucked.
dickhead and an abuser.
I mean, I'm sure
Does-
that's the message, but
Does she
Jesus,
have
fuck.
schizophrenia?
No.
No, she's got bipolar.
Okay, so that's another example for why this movie stinks. Is I'm watching it
Yeah,
and
nobody knows.
I think this woman has schizophrenia, and
Is
she
that a-
doesn't
is
even
that-
have schizophrenia.
Is that more reflective of the movie, or is just like our society the fact that nobody actually really
So,
knows what
yeah,
anything is?
uninformed
And that's why
uneducated.
I think being uninformed and ignorant is part of the reason they get treated so poorly.
Which is, I think, a comment this film is trying to make. Although it's
Yeah. Well, it makes so many comments. I mean, you go to
Yeah,
then
it
you go
makes
to
too many.
then you go to the theme of racism, which
Yeah.
is, in my opinion, one of the stronger themes within the
Mm.
movie that they just don't develop.
Yeah.
Like
But
that is so
It's
emotionally
as well.
impactful. Like
Yeah.
when that happens, you go,
Well,
"Fuck."
I looked over to you. Should we give context to the scene?
Yeah.
If we're going to talk about it?
Well, essentially, there's like a skinhead rally going past the
In,
theater.
in the,
And
up
then
in
you
the
can-
Thatcher area.
Yeah,
era
and then
in-
the skinheads see Michael, who is a black man,
Yeah.
and they like bust in
Yeah.
and try to like
Yeah, smash through
kill
the
him,
cinema.
they fucking
And just
yeah.
beat him.
beat him brutally.
And
It
I
was a
looked
very
over-
disturbing scene.
Yeah, I looked over to Isaac, and it's just jaws dropped,
Yeah.
as was mine, as was yours.
It's
Yeah.
fucked, bro.
It was so out of
Out of
nowhere.
nowhere.
And
And it was so
completely
powerful.
Yeah, so powerful.
Probably the best in the movie.
I think so as
Yeah.
well. I also, well, get onto that in a second, but it was so out of nowhere, and the theme before that had
Yeah, what happened
little
before
to
that?
no development except for when they were on the beach.
The only
and
other
the two
yeah.
skinheads walked up.
Well, and then after the fact, when he's like, oh, after some racist encounter, I can't remember which one, and Hillary's like talking to him, and he's like, oh, the angry man, and
Yeah.
she's like, oh, he's just an angry man. He's
Yeah.
like,
But he should not.
it's like
Yeah.
why is she pandering to him? Like
Yeah, it didn't make a lot
it doesn't
of
make any sense because she saw the racist behavior of the other people. Like she understands. It doesn't.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's a
Well, it's
comment
probably
of her mental health.
Yeah.
I don't know, but it seems stupid to me.
Mm.
On the topic quickly of scenes I liked, although it was fairly awkward with the New Year's kiss, I loved the cinematography and the lighting of that scene.
Yeah, on a
The
technical,
fireworks.
That's
the
what-
technical
yeah, that's what we
elements of
said
this
at the start,
movie
like,
are
It was
fantastic.
gorgeous.
Like, it's one of the things
scene
that
was-
carries the movie is that it has good actors,
Yeah, they're really good.
has great cinematography.
Again, technically, it's good. The aesthetic of the cinema was really nice.
Mm.
Really
Oh,
satisfying.
that's a
They
real-
The
captured.
room with the piano.
They
all
captured
those
the
Fucking
kind of
sick
mood
cinema.
of being in a theater really well.
Yeah.
All of that stuff.
Before that Colin Firth scene at the very start, I thought it was going to be like a homage to cinema. I hadn't.
Well, it is. Oh, that's the other thing that it is. It's a bit of a homage.
And this is the main.
solid.
See,
the
isn't that
main
what's
problem-
crazy is that we have all these things that we just remember it's about.
This is the main problem with the movie. So it addresses racism. It addresses like sexism because of how
yeah.
Colin Firth abuses Hillary in the movie.
Yeah.
You got that. You got a homage to love of cinema. You've got mental health sort of criticisms that society, doesn't care about. You've got a love story. It's almost a coming of age story in the sense
Yeah.
of what's his name again? Michael.
Steven.
Sorry,
Actor
Steven.
is Michael.
Actor is Michael. Stephen goes through all this stuff. There's so much stuff, and on their own, all of those different things and the way they're addressed in the movie could have made it a good, interesting movie. But he just jumbled everything together. So like that scene addressing racism we just talked about was a very powerful scene. But that's like more or less, besides the scene, one quick scene earlier, that's all racism is addressed.
Yep.
And as I said, especially with the mental health thing, which I feel like is a bigger aspect of the movie, and you're supposed to sympathize with her, with Hillary, and all this. And I didn't sympathize with her, which is why earlier I called her like this schizo freak for perhaps poor choice of words. But, and the thing is though, if the movie did a good job at addressing, because I clearly didn't even know what problem she had because it's so poorly explained. She has this problem, and if I was supposed to sympathize with her and they went in depth with it, then I would have totally been on board, and I would have seen their idea of their criticism of, you know, the lack of awareness that people have about serious mental health conditions. But because it's with all this other stuff in the movie that, again, on its own is important and stuff, but it's just too messy, I couldn't get invested in her. And when she was going crazy, I just thought this chick's crazy, and I didn't have any sympathy towards her. I was just like, go away. You're crazy. You're ruining Steven's life. Yeah. You know, and
legit, bro.
It was so weird and just unfortunate because, I think the biggest thing this movie is wasted potential.
Yeah.
It's wasted potential.
Isaac touched on it in the cinema. He goes, I felt like the whole movie was sort of like an anti-bullying campaign.
Oh,
in the sense where it's being so broad and never actually
the dialogue is like very vague. But secondly, this is the thing. This is I said it when she, after the angry man scene, when she's talking to him. It reminded me in year 6, right? I had an assignment where we had to make like this anti-bullying thing. And for some reason, my brain just goes, boom, I've literally made this exact like scene before. Just this very stupid dialogue between characters who are just like poorly written, doing like just retarded conversation. Like it's just that, I was like, bro, this is some year 6 level anti-bullying ad shit. Like it was just so bad.
It's like, the English assignment.
Just vague, poor, not well thought out.
And all this stuff, again, like all these things he's trying to address, because he does it in such a shallow way, because he doesn't give anything enough time to breathe and no sort of sense of analysis. It's just kind of, here's a bit of racist stuff and here's a bit of sexism and whatever. I just found it cringe. I was cringing at a lot of this stuff. Other than the scene, as we talked about with the racism scene, was a very disturbing point. But a lot of it, I just found
the angry man scene. It's like a Family Guy bit where it just keeps going.
Yeah.
That was so bad.
It's like, why is it still going?
There's this like 2-minute
They try to do this is the logic with when Family Guy does the bits, and they still don't work, but it's like, it's funny, and then it keeps going, and you're like, why is it still going? And then it just comes back around to being funny, but it never happens. It never comes back to being funny. It's just, can we please move on? It's just pointless.
Say the most enlightening thing ever.
No.
I was like, okay, here we go, guys. This is going to be brilliant.
There's nothing enlightening to say about this movie.
Yeah.
Except that maybe I would say it's worth watching just to see how not to make a movie.
Yeah.
I mean,
and how you could go wrong. How you could go wrong in making a movie if you don't have a clear idea going into it.
But if you go into it wanting to focus on any of the particular themes, I think you can get something positive out of it.
I'm sure.
Like at the end of it, Hillary is able to do the mundane day-to-day things she wasn't able to do throughout the film. Shows a growth of sorts, a positive ending. And, if you're going into it knowing it's one of the prevailing themes is mental health, poor health, mental illness, and you're in a similar situation, you can get something out of that. Right?
Yeah.
But if you're going into it blind, like we did, or just wanting to enjoy a good film, this isn't the place, unfortunately.
And that's what I mean. When you have movies where they're trying to address a very serious issue, i.e., as I listed all the different things that this movie's about, all of them in themselves are super big, important issues to modern society. But when movies, and not just this movie, but I've seen other movies that do it, when they try to put in some sort of criticism or message or something about an important issue, but they don't go anywhere with it, they just kind of, it's there and there's nothing beneath it to analyze or really, grab hold of. As I said, I find it just awkward or cringe or any of these sort of descriptions because I kind of go, what? Why is this in the movie?
Yeah.
Instead of being like, sitting there going, wow, this is a really big deal.
Good commentary.
The sexism, like abuse that Colin Firth puts onto Hillary is in of itself super
Yeah,
impactful.
where in the movie it
Super
comes
impactful.
across as just cringe.
But I found it cringe. I was like, what is this? Because he doesn't analyze anything. And it's a jumbled mess of a script. It's just there. And I'm like, what am I supposed to take from this by just showing me this? You need to kind of explain.
Because he gets ignored directly after as well. She just goes, does everything else, right?
Yeah,
Which is, I guess,
they just move on to another thing.
Part of the sense, the disassociation from it, which it ties back to mental illness, etc. But yeah, there's no sort of like none of the characters find out until she has the big, I guess, episode on the stage, etc. And then Colin Firth calls her out.
Yeah.
But I guess I didn't find necessarily any of those sort of topics that were touched on cringe. I just was frustrated by their underdevelopment. I did find the age difference.
That was definitely.
That made me cringe.
But as I said, like I cringe at it because I go, ugh, like that's it. Like
to comment on maybe why
What?
this movie isn't as good as perhaps other ones is because he wrote this one himself,
Oh, did he?
whereas the other ones have either him with another writer or a different writer. It's like,
Okay.
Also,
the
I just
direction
have to
you can't-
say, as a side note, this is one of the most fucking boring movies I've ever seen. My God, the last like 45 minutes could have every scene could have been the ending. I was like, guys, end the
It
fucking.
had three endings.
You know why the endings are so long and fucking weird? Is because they've got so many different stories in this
little-
movie. So
yeah.
it's like she starts crying because she
They
watches a
need-
movie.
Yeah.
That could be the end of the movie.
Yeah.
No.
That
Then it's
one
like
type
Yeah, I
shit.
remember
him
that
and
frustrating me.
him and the girl, like Hillary and Steven. No, not the ending. I don't even remember what the ending was. So, I completely forgot
fucking
because
end?
there's so many endings. I was like, I'm just checking out, praying to God the movie ends. Get me out of here.
Well,
When did it end?
I can't remember exactly.
Did the movie end? It's still going.
It's still going.
Guys, you have to go back to the theater,
We
bro.
wake
Anyway.
up. This is a dream.
Yeah, we're in the movie, bro.
It was genuinely cracking me up when so in the cinema it was me, then Isaac, then Nick.
Yeah.
And towards the end I could just hear Nick going
Ugh.
I just
huge
sighed.
sighs of discontent, and
Yeah,
it
'cause I'm
cracked me
Oh
up.
my guys, just end the movie. Like that's so. Like I'm not joking. I don't know if I've ever been at a movie where I was just begging for it to end, and it's not even long. It's not even long.
No,
You
well,
and
it's 2 hours. isn't it?
You and I have been at theater.
Not even.
We did all 3 Lord of the Rings
In one day.
In one day.
Yeah.
We were there for 10 hours.
Yeah.
Amazing. You know, that's a
Flew by.
long ass. That's a long ass time.
Mhm.
We were there for a fifth of that 2-hour movie, Empire of Light, and I felt like I'd aged 20 years. I'm like, bro, I'm in my 50s. You know, got to retire.
Well,
It's
yeah.
I'm Hillary's age. Bro,
Yeah,
like
no, I
crazy.
get that. On the topic of the Psy, though, in case you guys didn't know, we actually don't talk to each other about the films until now. So
Yeah.
all of our opinions are.
Try
That's
not
an
to.
important
Try
thing
not
to
to
know.
at least.
when,
There's-
when we
there's
bring
some
it to
conversation.
this podcast, these are new thoughts that are brought to the table. But with Nick just sighing at the end, I was like, I don't even really need to talk to Nick
Yeah,
about
you
this
know.
film.
See, that's the thing that,
Like-
that ultimately ends up happening is we don't even necessarily discuss anything, but we know exactly.
Yeah, you
going
get the
in.
vibe.
We
off
know
the
what
theatre.
Well, you walk out of the theater and you might say 1 or 2 things,
Yeah.
and that's it.
you
Like,
say.
if I walk
Say
out of the theater,
fuck yeah, Creed, or you go.
Did we not
What
just go
the
like, what the
fuck?
fuck?
yeah,
Yeah.
all 3 of us walked out of Empire of Light and we were like, what the fuck was that?
Yeah,
What was that shit, man?
yeah.
And yeah, it's very interesting. Very interesting.
To close off, I think you made a comment about it possibly being an Oscar bait movie,
Oh,
Yeah.
big time.
and that
Well, it was.
that will
It
lead
was-
into our next topic.
Yeah.
It was such, and I was kind of. It shows how shit it is because it's so Oscar bait. It has great actors. It's got a Oscar winning. I think he won an Oscar.
Cinematographer, yeah.
Oscar winning director.
Oh.
Has Sam Mendes won an Oscar? I don't know.
No idea.
Maybe. But yeah, Roger Deakins won an Oscar. This is such a, and it deals with all these sort of social, political elements which are very in at the Oscars. Like they love movies like
Yeah,
that,
they're important.
and yet it didn't get any nominations except for cinematography. I think.
Probably.
I think that was it.
I didn't watch the Oscars.
How many Oscars has what's his name Deakins got?
1, 2. Sorry, he won Blade Runner 2049 and 1917.
When what he would have
But
been
he got
nominated. He would have been
nominated, I'm sure, like,
nominated for
30
every.
times or
Yeah,
something.
that's
Like, basically every movie
that's like
he ever does.
Leonardo DiCaprio type shit where you just like do not
His
win
was even a bigger
Oscars.
deal. He's like the only cinematographer ever who won the Oscar, and then everyone in the audience like clapped and stood up
Yeah.
and was
Fuck
like,
yeah,
bro,
bro. What a
finally.
goat. What a fucking
Yeah.
goat.
Well, should we wrap up Empire of Light then?
Yeah, ratings.
Yeah.
Well, just quickly, I want to touch on, although it's very underdeveloped in this film, it isn't weak to speak. So if you are suffering, speak up. There are
Yeah.
people and
Definitely.
businesses in Brisbane and around the world to help you.
Yep.
And yeah, who'd like to start with their ratings?
3 out of 10. It was shit.
3 out of 10.
I'm going to straight limit it. I'm going to give it a 4, but I'm still incredibly disappointed in comparison to his more recent films. American Beauty.
Yeah,
not
he's
recent.
recent, bro.
His
James
previous film, 1917,
Yeah.
absolutely slaps. Great movie.
Yeah, I mean,
you know?
absolutely insane to go. Is that his last movie that he made?
Yeah.
I think so.
Let's go from that.
And the one before that, yeah, he did like 2 James
Two
Bond
James
movies
Bonds,
before that,
and
which
he's
were
done
great.
other things, but
I've not seen a.
this.
You know, I've not seen a single James Bond movie ever.
Really?
Never.
Just watch
I've watched
Casino
a couple.
Royale.
I think
Yeah.
I want to watch them all one day.
Yeah, I feel like you're gonna do like a binge.
Casino Royale is amazing with Daniel Craig.
For Sam Mendes to go from films like American Beauty and 1917 and James Bond in your case
Yeah.
to this is just really disappointing.
Well,
And that's reflected in the
And it's
3, 3,
just,
and 4.
it's just like, I was shocked. We went in knowing it got mixed reviews,
Yeah.
mm.
but I was thinking, nah.
It's got a 6 on
I was thinking, nah, like, there's no way it could be bad. It's fucking bad.
And to be honest, the 3 for me is mostly just because it's technically good.
Yeah,
The rest
well,
of it
it's
falls
shot,
so
it's
far
shot
flat.
and acted very well,
Yeah.
especially shot. That I can't be like,
It's a,
this movie's a 2 or something.
yeah.
On a script level, it is like it's a 2, but it has technical elements that kind of raise
Yeah.
it a little bit
Yeah.
for me.
Well, I think maybe I'm a bit generous in my technical elements because I love the cinematography.
No, it's fair.
Yeah, it's fair
I
enough.
could see it being a 4. Like I
I'm just
considered it being
harsh.
higher, but
Yeah, no.
it just it pissed me off.
Pissed me off. I walked out and I was like, that was a waste of my life.
And that's the thing is like if a movie can be bad, but if it doesn't piss me off, I'm willing to be more generous with it. Whereas
Yeah.
this movie pissed me off. So I
It
was like,
pissed me
I
off.
think.
Yeah.
Yeah. The 4 stars I've given are purely for those technical elements.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
fair.
Not
Yeah,
much else.
understandably. I mean, there's not much else.
That's not.
coming from
What
the
else are you
movie.
gonna give it? So I mean, look. In summary, in terms of movies that are out of the theater at the moment, watch Creed. Don't watch Empire of Light.
Mm.
You will suffer if you go to Empire of Light.
And we were
Unless
gonna
you
do-
like suffering, bro.
Yeah, this is full on masochism.
Yeah.
we're going to talk about Adam Driver's 65, which nor Isaac or I have seen, but Nick saw it, and
Oh, it was fucking garbage.
exactly. So
I
don't see that
So
either.
just guys, do not go to the cinema.
Go watch Creed.
Fucking
Go watch Creed 3.
watch.
Watch Succession. Full circle,
I
guys.
think this is a
It's-
film
Go on
podcast.
TV.
Mind
Watch
you.
Succession.
You're getting muted, bro.
Just have to walk out of here. Nah.
Security guard comes.
Yeah, go
just
watch
fucking
Creed.
grabs you.
Go watch
pulls
Creed.
you
Go
out.
watch the new John Wick as well. It's very good.
I haven't seen it. I've only watched the first 2 John Wicks, and
I've
it's
seen.
for me. It's just like, oh, John Wick.
Wow.
Nah, this
He
latest
kills
John Wick.
people, bro.
Puppy dies.
He kills
This
people.
latest
Fuck
one was
yeah.
great. It was fantastic.
Well, with that, should we get on to the little Oscars?
Yeah, little Oscars.
Yeah.
Do a little Oscars.
I mean, I don't have much to say about the Oscars other than like
Yeah,
it has its great moments. It has its moments where it's like when like Parasite won all those awards. Those are just magical, you know. It's like fuck yeah. And this year when what's his name?
Kihek one.
Yeah, when he won, that was
amazing.
that was fucking amazing. That was
Yeah,
so like
great speech.
that
I was so
brought
happy
me
it won.
that brought me like I was tearing up, bro. I was like fuck yeah, man, what a
Really
go.
fulfilling to see.
And I think
Yeah.
I could have dreamt this up. But I'm pretty sure like Harrison Ford like hugged
Yeah.
him after and
Yeah,
was like,
that was for the
From
best
Indiana
picture.
Jones.
win.
yeah. How wholesome is that?
Yeah,
And then
it was great.
and then you have the moments where you got Amy Schumer, and it's like
Well, she wasn't
why?
there this year, but yeah, like
I mean, they
last
still
year,
had
she
fucking
was so
Jimmy
bad.
Kimmel, bro. I don't-
So bad.
Yeah.
But the thing is, like, just don't watch the Oscars. Watch the highlights, bro.
There were a few
Like-
things with this latest Oscars. Like for one thing, I was pretty satisfied that Everything Everywhere
Yeah.
won. I thought that I think if
Yeah.
fair enough, movie of the year, it kind of
Well,
was.
what else could it
It's
even?
great.
Banshees.
Banshees could have
Anna
been.
Sharon.
That's the type of movie that would usually.
But
be
the
up
thing is,
there,
and I
definitely.
can. Well, this is one thing. Banshees won no Oscars, which I thought was a joke.
Yeah.
For one thing, it definitely
Yeah.
should have won Best Original Screenplay.
What did?
Everything.
Everything.
Oh right.
Which the thing is, like, when you're picking
trying-
Best Picture, you've got to look at all the elements across the board, and Everything Everywhere has things pretty good across the board. Except, yeah, it shouldn't have won a screenplay because it should have gone to Banshees, and Jamie Lee Curtis winning was such a joke.
Was that
Why?
best supporting
Why did
actress?
that
Best supporting
happen?
actress.
No.
She
She's like
was
a-
so bleh.
She's barely a character.
Barely in it.
She's sort of like a joke.
She's just playing herself like.
But she's literally just a joke character. Like she's hardly developed.
When she's in what's that movie? Knives Out.
Yeah.
She's way better in that.
The fuck does she play in Knives Out?
The daughter of one of the guy who got killed.
Okay.
She was way better in that than in Thingy. Everything Everywhere.
Yeah.
And
mouthful of name, by
the
way.
people who
It's short too.
they were supporting actresses who got
So
nominated.
Yeah,
Kerry Condon got nominated for Banshees. She did a way better job than Jamie Lee Curtis. And
There's so many people.
Hong Chow got nominated for The
Yeah.
Whale, and she didn't win. Hong Chow
I
was so
think
good.
She was amazing.
She was so
Considering
fantastic.
just
And
what-
Jamie Lee
How,
Curtis.
speaking of the Whale, how good is Brendan Fraser? It's fucking.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
that's
Speech-
something
his
I
speech,
wanna-
the
I
amount
haven't
he
seen
just the whole time just making whale puns.
Was he?
Yeah.
Yeah, the whole speech is just whale like puns. It's so funny, bro.
That was a really stacked category this year.
Mm.
So
Actor,
yeah,
yeah.
Colin Farrell for Banshees was fantastic.
Yeah.
Austin Butler for Elvis was fantastic.
Who's the
Mm.
actor from
Paul Mescal,
Paul Mescal?
Yeah.
After Sun,
Yeah.
fantastic.
I rewatched After Sun as well last month.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely loved it.
Yeah.
But so I'm kind of shocked that didn't win.
Flashback to episode 1, guys.
Guys, you have to
Been
watch
one more
episode 1 to
You have
find
to
out what we're
watch
talking
another
about.
episode.
But no, I was really happy with the best actor and actress. I guess.
Yeah,
Award.
Michelle Yeoh's great.
Yeah, and I think
She's the
Brendan,
only one who should have won it.
Brendan Fraser. Only other one I would have wanted was Colin Farrell or Paul Mescal.
Yeah.
But I haven't seen others, so I can't comment on Austin Butler. Heard it
He's
was
so
great.
good.
Heard it was great. But I'm happy with that.
Oh, and also supporting actress, Angela Bassett for Black Panther, way better than Jamie Lee Curtis.
I haven't seen
She
that.
had
No,
Oscar.
she's tortured.
She had an Oscar-winning performance. Like
Why were you racist?
if
Well,
she,
no, I don't really
No,
like
he's
Marlon
getting
films
he's getting
anymore.
defensive now.
if she,
I'm
if
sorry,
she-
sorry.
Good.
if she like for Black Panther, if she won, I would have been completely satisfied.
Yeah.
I didn't think the new Black Panther movie was. I thought it was fine, but she was so good in that.
Mm.
She was better than Jamie Lee Curtis, and she didn't win.
But why did Jamie Lee Curtis win? Like, what was the
Because-
campaign for her winning?
These are the things that happen. For one thing, when you win an Oscar, you either win an Oscar because you got the public support,
Yeah.
public clout. Everyone's like, if Leonardo DiCaprio doesn't win, fuck you, and
Yeah.
so he wins. You either did a performance that was so unbelievable that obviously you're gonna win, which like I don't know what one recently that's like that, but whatever.
Yeah.
Or if you've been in the industry for years. Years, like decades, and you've been nominated before and you've never won, they sometimes will be like, it's probably time for DiCaprio to get his Oscar, even though he could have got it ages ago. And I think that's what happened to Jamie Lee Curtis. She is like a veteran. She's in Halloween. That's a classic, blah, blah, blah. But like, she was not the best supporting actress of the year.
Yeah.
But they were like, oh, we should give one to Jamie Lee Curtis, which I find such garbage. Like, it's supposed to be an authentic awards for the best stuff of the year.
I haven't done much research on how the awards are given, but as you said, I'd love for a more transparent voting system.
It does not feel like authentic to me at
No,
all.
it needs to be
Feels
like,
rigged as
purely
fuck.
objective.
For one thing, when I sit,
Which is,
Yeah, it's such a bullshit.
it
system.
should not be.
isn't it?
Wait,
Coined
what-
as purely objective
Which
anyway?
movie campaigns the hardest?
It should
find
not-
out now
This is
on
the
the
thing,
Oscars.
when I watch the Oscars, because
It's
I watch it every year, I can sit there and guess correctly
Well, okay.
every single winner,
Did-
and it's like, bro,
Did the
that should not
Northman
be
or
happening.
French Dispatch
didn't get any
didn't get
nominations.
any nomination? And like, how
The
is that?
French Dispatch wasn't last year, was it?
Yeah, it's 20.
It was 2021.
But the
Oh,
whatever.
was it?
But the
Okay.
Oscars
the point still remains
The
that
Northman didn't get a
Northman didn't
nomination.
get anything.
And that's a bloody good film.
Yeah.
and also the only thing this year that won the second most awarded film.
Oh, please don't get me started on All Quiet on
All
Western
Quiet on
Front.
Western
That-
Front.
I hated it.
Yeah,
Pissed
I
me
didn't
off.
hate it. I just thought it was very it's adequate.
Best cinematography, best original score.
That
What a
sent
sick
me
joke.
I've
That
got
was the
written
worst
down
part about
here.
the movie.
That was
It's
the worst score ever.
The techno score, the period piece from World War One.
the whole movie.
I'm sorry.
This is watching All Quiet on Western Front. Very intense, snowy people shooting, and it's
it's like
that's literally the movie. Bro.
techno music.
I don't know what that's gonna sound like, but it's not gonna be pleasant.
Yeah, it's
From like-
people with their headphones.
That's the fucking movie,
Yeah,
bro.
from
That
the
is
2000s.
the
You're
movie.
sitting there like,
And you're watching.
oh
World
yeah,
War
it's a
One
war
scene.
movie,
Oh,
and then it just
God.
starts going insane, fucking batshit on the techno. Like,
Oh,
why?
It frustrated me.
But I don't know how that even got nominated.
I'm glad we're on the same
Yeah,
page
I
with that.
What else
I'm
was
really
what other
I've
movies
written
got
down
nominated?
here Babylon had a great original
What the
score.
fuck?
It was amazing.
That was beast as
Babylon's-
fuck.
Yes.
Was that
Babylon
the
barely
only-
won. Like it didn't.
Yeah,
win
it didn't win
anything.
anything.
Didn't win anything.
I love Babylon. It was
And
such a fun,
Banshees didn't
such a
win
fun
anything?
movie.
The
Yeah.
Babylon score.
What was the
however
was the
you say it.
Banshee score good? I can't remember.
It was subtle.
I'm sure it was.
Oh, the music. Yeah, it was
pretty
alright.
Yeah, I'm sure it was
impressive.
adequate. Like
They
it
had-
did the
they
job.
had,
With a movie like that, you don't want to
It
be
wasn't
too.
very important. To
Yeah.
me.
No, yeah, it was just nice. It fit the tone.
Yeah.
But Babylon or the Batman even, I think had a
Yeah.
Oh,
much,
Batman legit should have won Oscars.
much
Mm.
better score than
Batman legitimately
finals.
could have won Best Cinematography of the Year. Legitimately.
Yeah.
Like it was so well shot and so
Yeah.
awesome. And
I
it
think
did-
there was a lot of front runners for that category.
Yeah, that was a stacked category. Like Empire of Light got an Oscar nomination. Only one that it deserved.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah. Woo.
Anyway, it
but
was
no.
a very frustrating Oscars as always.
I think Martin, the director of Banshees, is tough
Martin
to miss
McDonagh.
out for best director as well.
Yeah, that was a shame.
But no,
But mainly
the,
his
the,
script
the
was
fact that and Top Gun, what did it win? Best
best sound.
sound.
It
Yeah, I
should have
think
won more.
I
That
think
movie
that's good.
saved the
Top-
movie industry.
Top Gun was very good last year.
Yeah.
But just the fact that movies like Banshees,
But can I?
Batman,
Yeah.
and Babylon
for-
don't win anything.
This is
Come
a
on.
statement that I can say. So, Batman, Banshees,
Babylon. The three Bs.
Babylon, for example, all those
Triple
three.
B, bro. Oh,
Triple B. Triple
sorry,
B.
do you remember Triple B Baller Brand? The basketball, like
No,
LeVar Ball?
no.
Fuck, bro. Sorry.
This is Phil Book.
Sorry.
So, yeah, Batman, Banshees, and Babylon, for example,
Hmm.
have no Oscars, yet fucking All Quiet on the Western Front and fucking four.
Hey, man.
And
Because
fucking Avatar. Avatar has more Oscars than Banshees.
Oh my God.
Get the fuck out of here.
Avatar is the greatest movie of all time.
Yeah, what do you mean? Come on.
The
It's
shape,
such
the
a
shape,
fantastic
of, the
film.
shape of water.
It's not even called
Whale
that,
of
bro.
the Water.
Shape of Water is Guillermo
Oh, no,
del
that,
Toro.
dude, I hate that movie, bro. That's, you know what it is? It's because I fucking didn't like Avatar. Like my brain's made the like
multiple
unconscious
things I hate.
connection.
What am I thinking about?
Dude,
Water.
soon I might be able to drink
Water.
water, bro. I might be able to drink
Yeah,
it.
okay.
Fuck, I'm
Well,
done.
You watch Avatar and Shape of Water, you just connect.
So next
Dude, Shape of
podcast
Water
will
actually
be,
fucking pissed me off.
replacing Isaac.
Okay,
We'll be dead.
Yeah,
this is a
no,
tangent as a. But you've seen seen Shape of Water?
Yeah,
Did you like it?
yeah, I did.
I fucking hate that movie,
But
bro.
it was fun. It was
I
like
haven't seen it.
it wasn't great. I enjoyed it.
It
was
almost
like-
it's in the same
I
vein as
enjoy most
Empire of
Guillermo
Light.
del Toro movies.
It's Empire of Light like has the weird as fuck relationship. Shape of Water has a way worse weird as fuck relationship, bro.
Yeah, she fucks
Do
the
you,
fish.
yeah, she fucks the fish man. The
Actually,
fish man. The
have
fish
you guys,
man.
Have you guys ever seen T-Tame
Nah,
by Julia Ducournau?
nah, no.
That movie's awesome. In that movie, a chick fucks a car
Oh.
and gives birth to a car mutant baby.
Oh,
Speaking of
Everyone should
Oscars,
watch T-Tame.
Pinocchio won
Oh, I thought we were gonna get into the
best animated movie.
I'm
No,
not talking about men. Fuck that. Which one?
Pinocchio won best animated.
Yeah.
I hate.
Yeah, bro. You have a problem with Guillermo
I
del Toro.
hated Pinocchio.
You
I
can't listen
legitimately.
to that.
I was watching it and nearly like just wanted to just throw up because it was just so fucking
it
annoying.
beat Puss in Boots, which is a sick
Still haven't
show.
seen that.
Puss in
Bullshit.
Boots
Bullshit.
was awesome.
Pinocchio
Puss in Boots
is
was
like
great.
the most fucking annoying movie I've ever watched. I literally was watching it, then I just was about to just fucking
This is
turn it
sort
off
of like
so many
the-
times that I like soldiered through because I felt
Is
I
this
had
the
to.
incredibly like realistic cartoon?
Yeah,
Yeah, I watched a bit of that.
That's
My brother
awesome.
did not
I
like
haven't
it
seen it
at
at all.
all.
It's just about it's like about fascism, bro. It's like, why?
Hold on.
Kids movie. Let's
Yeah, what? I guess is it even? I guess it is. That's good. I also generally don't like musicals. So
That's
into it.
this is
Well,
just
and
too
the songs in
this
it
is
piss
just
me
too
off.
good of a segue. Speaking of kids, films, musicals,
And-
and fascism, Disney, Fantasia.
Yeah, I was about to
Let's
pick on
let's
that.
not forget
Yes.
let's not forget racism, guys. I mean, it's not in the.
Fantastic.
Well,
Oh yeah,
it's
speaking of, did you watch on Disney Plus?
I did. Hold on. We probably should introduce what.
Oh,
what
right.
we're
So
talking about. Oscar
Fantasia,
talk is done.
Oscar's
Mark,
done.
onto Fantasia, a 1940 Walt Disney production.
This was your pick.
Yeah, this was my pick from last episode. It has 12 directors
Fuck yeah.
and it produced for I hope
Because
just
it's
to
like
know
because
that.
it's such a wide.
there's so many different acts,
yeah.
etc.
Oh yeah.
And of course produced by Walt Disney. And it was nothing like what I thought it was going to be.
It was nothing like what I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, I didn't know at all.
None of us had
I knew
seen it.
nothing
No,
about
I
it going into
didn't
it.
know anything about it.
Didn't even like read it. The only thing I read before watching the movie was Disney Plus's warning that it was
Racist
culturally
content.
insensitive and it was wrong then and it's wrong now. And I'm watching the movie and I'm like,
There's nothing here.
where? But then
Yeah.
I did some research after the fact because I was talking to my brother and I'm like, Fantasia. It's fine. Why is there this Disney Plus? And then we went and did some research, and basically they just edited out this like
There's like full
blackface,
George Lucas,
like
bro.
fucked up, like genuinely fucked up.
Yeah,
I
it
haven't
was fucking
seen
weird.
the actual scene of
Dude,
the content warning.
It is fucked
Jamie,
up.
pull that shit up.
It's fun.
Don't pull that. I'm not gonna watch it now.
Wow.
But
Joe Rogan.
yeah, look, before I made this pick, I didn't do any research. I just knew 1940 Disney film. Okay, it's old. It seems cool. None of us have seen it. I'm gonna recommend it.
And it's one of those movies where you, after watching it, you go, "What? Is there much to say about it?"
Yeah,
And I think there is a little bit.
I've got some.
Yeah, I think at first glance it just seems like it's a bunch of animations with some nice music, but then you kind of go, well, what is it trying to achieve considering the time that it's being made? What were the movies before, and what has it done for the movies after?
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, first let's touch on the animation, I guess. Brilliant.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
Amazing.
nice.
Gorgeous.
Disney fucked that up, and
Well,
what are they good for?
it is one of their first films. I think there's not many before.
True. I
There's
didn't
like
know that.
3 or 4.
Well, I think their first
Five.
like animated
Snow.
with like talking was Snow White.
I'm gonna be honest. My favorite character is the composer, or whatever he is.
No, the guy who introduces
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah, that guy's
No.
great.
Hey, what a guy!
Frustrating.
This guy hates him, bro. Like how? He's such a like.
He could have an ASMR channel, bro.
He's got a
That
nice
guy's great.
ass voice.
Yeah, no, he has a nice voice. As I said, Fantasia wasn't what I expected, and I
No, it was not.
did expect a film in a sense of,
Which
you know,
is
it's
really
linear, blah, blah,
Linear
blah.
plot, yeah.
I did not expect there to be interludes
Yeah.
and scenes being, I guess, explained. I didn't
Yeah.
expect it to cut to live people, but I did like that.
Yeah.
I just didn't expect it. But yeah, the animation was gorgeous, brilliant lighting, and I was doing some research last night actually. And you know when the musical score syncs up the what's on the screen?
Like colors that are coming on. Yeah.
Colors and the action.
Mm.
That's actually called Mickey Mouse.
Yeah, no,
So
I saw a thing that said that
It's
too.
coin, not coin. These guys like doing stuff that is revolutionary in a sense at the time. Or like
I think that was something that they did before the movie.
Yeah.
Where, yeah, because that's how like soundtracks used to be used. I think in that Mickey Mouse
It
effect.
would have been in the other Disney.
But I think
films
that
before
yeah.
But it's awesome. I love it.
Well, that's on the
It's
topic
so
of how
pleasing.
on the topic of the purpose and how they use music. It's sort of I think music is the main thing, and the animation is
It's got some very famous music.
the story that's being told. Like the music is the story, and then the animation sort of accompanies it in a sense.
Yeah,
It's like a
they're drawing the inspiration for the country from the music.
it's like an inversion of like it's usually the soundtrack is accompanying the film, whereas now the film is accompanying the soundtrack in a sense.
They don't really have much to work off though. There's no script as per se. These are the music pieces we want to write, and that's what the I guess what the
Introductory.
introductory dude says is here's 12 pieces of music we chose or whatever it is.
Yeah, they
lovely cartoons that accompany it.
Yeah.
It is the inverse or the reverse, yeah.
Which is an interesting concept.
Yeah, it is.
We don't
Like
see it anymore.
like I know nothing about music theory or anything, but it's still just that was a cool idea.
And this is my thing with my problem with the movie that I struggle with is like, it's technically a huge achievement.
Yeah.
It's
revolutionary.
it's amazingly done. Everything about it is good, but I found it so boring, and I just didn't.
True.
I didn't care.
I think that it can lose you, but I was in a good mood.
Because that's the thing. Like, I think with this movie, and this is the problem when movies have multiple like little short stories or whatever in it, is unless every single story is equally as engaging, the pacing is fucked, and then you start to sit there going, you know, I don't.
It lost me a bit with the dinosaurs. That was my.
Oh, that was like one of my favorite
I made a
parts.
comment.
Real?
I made a comment about that. It's
love
like
that
the land
part.
before the land before time.
Yeah.
And I really like that. And
Yeah.
I don't know whether that's a Disney
I thought in
thing,
terms
but-
of the animation, that was one of the best parts of the animation. Was that part?
Well,
That part, Mickey Mouse's little bit, and I loved the devil at the end.
yes.
I thought those
I'm
three
gonna
were
talk about
fantastic.
the devil act in a second. But with your timing, the start's nice, it's lovely, I'm engaged. Lost almost all of the middle, don't remember much.
Yeah.
Pick back up with the really weird, like, what are the big birds called? come on guys, like the emus and stuff. Like
Flamingo,
at
ibis.
the very end, it's like emus, I'm pretty sure, and then hippos and elephants.
Oh, like the crocodiles.
yeah, like doing the weird
I don't
dance.
remember
And
there
then
being
it's-
birds in that scene. I remember the hippos
No,
in the.
there's big birds. Anyway, and then there's the devil scene.
Yeah,
And that whole Satan act, I would have loved to have seen that as just a standalone short film. I think it would be a 10 out of 10 in my opinion. That was great. And because it had the 2 scores of memory.
Ostriches, bro.
Ostriches, there we go.
yeah, ostriches. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, okay, I do remember that.
But yeah, I do agree with you on the pacing. Just
How good is Mickey? How good's the Mickey Mouse one with the magic?
So when I went into the movie,
That I had seen that
when I went into
before.
the movie, I saw it.
Yeah.
I saw it at school.
Same.
When I went in to watch the movie, I thought the whole movie was about.
That's what
Mickey
I
Mouse.
same. I thought it was
And I
about
was
him
like,
being
yeah, bro, this
a
is gonna
magician.
slap. Like
Yeah.
I've seen this bit. This is
Yeah.
gonna slap.
Yeah.
And I was like, what the fuck? The start of the movie is just
so
like
shocked.
the start of the movie is just like colors.
Yeah.
Well, that was awesome. I love that.
It was-
Yeah, it's a bit like the ratatouille when he eats the like the cheese and just mixing the foods. And it's like
yeah, there
the
were just some
colors.
bits like
Like synesthesia or something.
there were
Yeah.
just so many of the bits I kind of was like, you know, the fairy bit I didn't really like. The music in it was very good. The Nutcracker music is
Oh, I
very
love the
famous.
first scene in Nutcracker.
Yeah, I didn't care about like what I was watching. I did not care about that stupid hippo floating.
I-
in the sky.
I-
was like, what is
did not give a
this?
shit about that. I didn't. Yeah,
The-
there's a lot about it I
the-
didn't care.
It's funny that the only scene or the story thing that's in the movie that is both racist and sexist, or originally was, is the one with the what are they called, senators?
So I feel like we
Because
should
you have
probably
like the sexist, like the women are just there like going, "Ooh, look at me, you pick me." It's like,
pick me girls.
bro,
type.
what? I don't think that.
cliche.
And it was like that, and then obviously they got rid of it, but like the
So yeah, for explanation, the racist thing, and I feel like this is actually the part they're warning about.
yeah,
Although the girl sexism thing wasn't very good either.
yeah. I just don't.
Although if they cut that as well, there would not have been a scene. You'd have just been watching like.
Yeah, what would they have done, bro?
Um,
Unless they just cut the men and they just have the women characters for some reason prancing around like, ooh.
Yeah.
But for
Even
the,
still.
the thing that's problematic is there's a part in the movie with these centaurs or whatever, and there is a younger, smaller centaur who clearly I thought she was Native American. Is the vibe?
I haven't seen the
Wait.
original cut.
Wait, did you watch? Are you talking about what I'm talking about? I don't know if you've seen.
The uncut version.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's a
It's-
Native
okay.
American little centaur.
I definitely don't think it's Native American. I'll show you the picture.
I was talking because you know the braided of the hair had feathers and stuff in it. It looked to me, and plus Disney is known for having a lot of.
You're talking about this?
Yeah, that's not.
I don't
That's
know.
definitely that's
thought-
blackface. I mean, look
Oh.
at the animation of that character. Look at the face.
Sorry,
Wait a second
guys.
here.
Yeah, they're gonna kick us out.
But I mean, we didn't speak this time.
Yeah, okay.
Okay,
So it's-
but yeah, look at.
we'll put a picture.
We'll put a picture up. Yeah,
on
yeah.
What this is.
But look at this, right? Look how different the animation style is in their faces.
Yeah.
And that to me is so obviously a racist depiction. Like it's
Oh,
just
it's
fucked up.
100% racist,
And
and
the-
plus it's like this
The character's
butler-esque
role
character.
is a slave.
Yeah,
It
it's a
fucking does
slave.
everything for this. Like, it's fucked up.
It's fucked up.
So
And
anyway, I on that topic, why did they take it out of the film?
Well, it was edited. So I did some research. I think it was edited out in a 1960s version.
Yeah, but I would love
So,
to. I feel like it makes
the
no-
version on Disney Plus.
it makes no sense to have the racist warning
And
just to
then-
cut the racist.
Yeah,
shit.
that's what I
And
thought.
I think it would
yeah.
be more impactful if you kept it in with
Yeah.
that.
Well, that's what they
content
say.
as
They
well.
say rather than editing the thing, we have kept it here to show.
But they didn't.
But they didn't,
But
which is
yeah.
why I was like,
I don't.
I will.
I think it's much more important to keep those things in. See how society.
yeah, because
progresses.
if you put it all
It's the
on
same
the rug,
argument
it's
with
the
the
same
Gone with
way.
the Wind movie.
If you go,
Yeah.
if you just like, sort of pretend the racism never happened,
It's very.
then
What are we
then-
supposed to
then
take
how
from
how yeah,
Exactly.
and then there's not like, this whole lived experience of the African Americans is now based
I
on
will.
nothing.
I will say.
Which is bullshit.
So looking at the picture again, clearly, that character was African American. However, like, if you go back and watch a lot of older Disney movies, which I saw when I was a kid, the amount of racism to Native Americans,
Peter
is
Pan?
especially Peter Pan,
Yeah.
is so prevalent that when I saw, because it wasn't in the movie, but when I looked it up later, this racist part of Fantasia, I looked at it and immediately went, oh my God, more Native American racist shit.
Yeah.
like I'm so sick of seeing this in old Disney movies, but it was it was African American.
Yeah. Wow.
Not that it's any better, but it's
No,
it's,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah,
The
it
point
still
remains.
frustrates me that it was taken out.
I feel that's dumb. I feel like all these old movies, which I
Well, I wonder if
definitely problematic. Gone with the Wind is problematic. This is problematic, but it should be kept for historical purposes.
Exactly, you've got to understand that. People thought like this at the time. It's amazing to see the progression of a society in that time frame, and
From then to now.
almost you'd say there's the we hit the perfect spot, and then Disney in a sense goes too far over the line, or how do I say it? Not over the line. They go too far in a different direction. Representation becomes not a question.
And I think
of,
it's.
like,
I think
making
it is.
everything fair and equal, but appealing to sort of like the.
It's also rich
far
rich
left.
for Disney to appeal to like this. Look how good
Well,
a company we are when they are not a good company.
No,
The most capitalistic company on earth is Disney. I
So, you
fucking
know,
can't stand them.
I don't think that's the point that I have sort of a problem with, is that they don't actually, they wouldn't care as a company. They're just doing it because it looks good for the
Trust me,
company.
you have to just look at all of it. Since the sort of like importance of LGBT has become a thing in the last few years, the amount of LGBT representation in Disney movies just went from like 0 to 100. There's just LGBT shit in every single Disney movie. And I'll say this, the reason why I see that in a Disney movie and it annoys me is because alternatively, if it became like profitable to put ISIS propaganda in a movie, Disney would put ISIS propaganda in every movie.
That's why. How much better would
they are scum.
How much better would it be if we had Disney not as this monopoly, but we had independent creators telling real stories, or not necessarily real, but lived experience based stories, and it's like really actually meaningful.
But that's what happens. Like, you say to me, what is a great piece, or what impacted you in terms of like LGBT representation? And I would say Portrait of a Lady on Fire, Brokeback Mountain, incredible films that really delve into these issues. Disney will put a gay little scene in there for maybe 2 minutes.
Okay, look how good we are.
And the reason, not only do they do it, but they do it only for that much. So if they want to put it to a country that's homophobic, they can just cut the scene and it doesn't impact the movie at all.
Or their profits in that country.
Like, exactly. You can't cut the gayness out of Brokeback Mountain because that's so fundamental to the
That's
film.
the whole film. Yeah. What other films are like that in the sense that they're sort of revolutionary in that space?
Actually, that's a good question.
Call Me by Your Name comes up in a sense, but that was.
Are you talking specifically for LGBT?
Yeah. Like, that was an interesting take on it.
Thought
The
about
young
Moonlight.
Yeah, Moonlight's
really
one.
Incredible
Yeah.
film. And that's, it just shits me. Like,
I think Brokeback
Disney
Mountain.
shits me.
We did that in the film club last year.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
a very good film.
Yeah, there's actually not a great deal many genuinely meaningful LGBTQ movies, really. That's actually interesting.
It's the same deal, like in terms of cultural representation, like diversity thing. You look at a film that really tackles subjected racial minorities, and you could pick a film like 12 Years a Slave, or perhaps Moonlight, or whatever, and it's or Black Klansman, super great, super impactful, super interesting. Disney just making The Little Mermaid black doesn't change anything. They just do it for the dumb social class. It doesn't even appeal to people anymore. Most people who see that in Disney movies just roll their eyes because we know that Disney actually doesn't give a shit. They don't care.
It's pretty pathetic,
It
isn't it?
to change people's views and opinions. They're doing it the wrong way.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, you got to create. It doesn't make sense either, because the character doesn't have the context of that history. Having a character who's made specifically, like Miles Morales.
Miles Morales, great character.
Right? If they had decided never to make him, and instead
just Peter Parker is black.
Why? Well, then you do that,
what?
and it's like, well, it doesn't mean anything because Miles Morales' character has the connection to all the all those.
He's written by
with that intent.
With that intention.
Whereas Peter Parker's character is not. So if you then make him black, it's like, well, he doesn't actually have any of that connection anyway.
Yeah. Again, it's this shallow garbage. Like, it's the exact same film, except Little Mermaid, for example, is just black instead of white. And considering it's set in the what is it, medieval times, or
Is-
or
yeah.
the like
yeah,
it's
whatever it is, fucking
a long time ago. People were walking around with swords and shit in
wooden
Little
boats,
Mermaid.
bro.
Yeah, I haven't
In
seen
wooden boats
any
in Little
movies.
Mermaid, right?
Yeah.
So if she was black in that story, she would have, without question, been
That's the other
subjected to racist.
This is what I said
garbage.
because I watched the
And
trailer.
they would have
and
they
I'm
would have
like-
been subjected to that.
I'm like, if she starts walking on land,
Yeah, she would have been.
she would definitely have something
It's-
happen to
It's
her.
the witch sort of cool.
Sh-
Well, because then you bring in sexism too.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. I
A
don't know.
woman doing something that is
It just
different.
seems. It just seems.
But that's
It seems to me that they will
medieval
overlook
time
that
period.
too, and they won't approach that in the
No.
movie. I'm not even gonna bother watching it, even if they like.
well, who cares?
But
Because
see-
it's just the same movie. Like,
Yeah.
Well, I'm
it's
not
just the
gonna
same movie. But
See, this is
live
the thing.
Who cares?
To bring it back to the Oscars in the way that they disrespect animation and that live action is just always going to be this higher art form. It's like
Yeah.
some stories are better told animated. It just is.
Spider-Man winning.
Yeah, one best animated film. But there are a couple of times where I believe animated film has actually been nominated for best film, like Toy Story 3 and maybe Spirited Away.
Yeah. Well, on the topic of Spirited Away, I thought the final act with the whole Satan on the mountain, when the souls are walking across that bridge, kind of got very.
They're not souls.
Are they not? What are they?
Are you talking about the people with the lanterns at the
Yeah.
end? Yeah, so they're
Are they the villagers or the?
So I was kind of confused about that as well. So I looked it up, and apparently what it is the demons or whatever are dancing during the night, and then a church bell rings, and those people who are walking across are monks.
Monks. Okay. Well, I sort of
Yeah.
thought that could have heavily inspired some sort of characters and scenes in Spirited Away. I thought there was an obvious
Yeah.
similarity there, and I loved it. I loved the whole Satan sort of act. I thought, the transition from him being on that and then to a part of the mountain was awesome.
Yeah, it was great.
Just the music as well. I loved it, and then I didn't like at the very end the sunset. I thought it was too obvious, like the end. End of the day.
Yeah.
Sort of
Yeah.
end of the day. End of
It's
the
mission
final.
ending.
I haven't seen it, but I would love that to just be standalone
Yeah.
because it was really good.
Yeah. I don't know. It's kind of, for me, with that movie, it's either your cup of tea or it isn't. And it was just definitely not my cup of tea. And I can respect the movie, besides its racist shit. I can respect the movie for all of its technical achievements, but if you ask me to watch it again, I would never watch it again. Just because I didn't have an enjoyable experience, which I feel like is like 50-50 with a movie that could be technically incredible. It's the same problem that people have with Citizen Kane. You can't deny the technical achievements of Citizen Kane, but some people hate
For
it.
me,
They just don't care. Other people connect with the story, and that's
for
how
me,
it is.
8.5
Oh,
is a
for me,
movie. Yeah, is a movie I'll never watch again. But it's a movie that I watched and it's like
8.5,
that is a
right?
very good movie. But it's a movie I was like,
Yeah.
I could never ever sit down to watch this again.
No.
Well, I did think that 2 hours for a film that has very little dialogue, when only dialogue is
Is that how long
Yeah, it's 2
Fantasia
hours.
goes for?
Yeah.
See, for me, it didn't feel that long. I actually had a reasonably well-paced time with it.
See, I watched it in 3 different parts.
Yeah,
for-
maybe that's the way you would do it.
for
Though.
various reasons.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
watched it in 2 sittings because I couldn't sit through it.
Well, I fell asleep the first time, if that says anything. And the second time, I was just chilling by myself.
Yeah,
And then I watched the last half an hour again last night because I wanted to rewatch the devil scene.
Mm.
But on the topic of that whole last scene, did anyone think of that there was any sort of message behind that sort of theme of hope that you get from that? Or
I took it more as I guess this may be a more surface level analysis, but just like Christianity, because that's what those monks are.
Yeah.
Christianity will always bring the light and bring the end to evil, if you
Okay,
will.
yeah.
Which, I mean, for back then, the 40s would probably be what they would be talking about.
yeah,
Yeah.
I obviously wrote something before I knew it was about monks, but I was
Sure.
like, okay, time 1940, made probably a year or so earlier, started World War II.
Mm.
The whole thing,
Mm.
despair, hope, light, dark. This could be a sort of comment on that.
Yeah.
Now I know it's probably not, but that's what I sort of took it as. This
it's fair.
overarching theme of hope ends the film. There's not much in between that in terms of messages. I don't really
No.
think it's just a creative expression, which I love. It's them.
It's like the one art house Disney movie.
It's them experimenting.
True. It's legit.
It is for
The
art house
first
movies.
and only.
There's a part where they talk to the music bar
Yeah.
You know, in the middle of the movie.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm
it's,
like, bro, this is actual art house, like
Mm.
experimental
yeah,
film.
I thought the transitions from live action to the fades in, fades out, the morphing, really great.
Yeah, yeah.
It is a time of heavy experimentation, late 30s, early 40s, particularly with animation. I
Yeah.
think they did a great job, but it isn't much more than that.
Yeah. Fair.
So should we wrap it up?
Wrap it.
for,
Give some
Fantasia?
ratings. Well, look, I'll just say mine. I'm gonna give it 5,
Okay.
which is probably seems a bit harsh, but again, I appreciate everything about it, but did not enjoy my experience
Yeah, I
watching
get
it at
that.
all. So I kind of am like, it's 50-50 on the
Whether
good
you-
stuff
yeah.
about it that I appreciate about it, but
Yeah.
also like I didn't have a great experience whatsoever. So
It's
it's a 5.
Yeah, I can see that, but I did get a little bit more out of it in the sense that I found it more enjoyable, and for that reason, I'm giving it a 6. So I still didn't love it. I love the visuals.
See, I'm giving it a 7.
7, there you go.
Yeah. So that's like
Yeah,
It's a bit of a distribution.
yeah.
7's about the average score for everything. So podcast. So
Fuck,
far.
that's where it floats.
Except
Yeah.
Empire of Light.
Yeah, Empire of Light. Well,
3
Empire of Light just fucking kills it.
killed our positive vibes.
well,
Fuck yeah.
oh,
That takes a lot of skill.
right.
You have to be a talented filmmaker to do that.
An exceptionally talented filmmaker to write.
well, Isaac, would you like to get on to you?
Yeah, well, it's
Your
time for the
So
recommendation.
it's Isaac's turn now.
Yep.
So I picked one and Marlon
then-
picked one. So for next episode,
Next
whenever
month.
it is, next month,
We have Eternity in a Day by Theo Angelopoulos.
there you
And
go.
funnily enough, Nick happened to guess that.
Yeah. So we don't
Purely-
tell each other like what the picks are going to be, so we can have some
Yeah.
sort of shock.
Yeah.
And just before we started recording, I said to Isaac like, "Oh, so what's the go with this? Or like, is it a popular director or something?" And he was like, "Well, I've seen one film from this person that I really liked, and so I want to see more. And I know the only director where he loved this film, and there are other films that I know he wants to watch, is Theo Agropoulos.
Yeah.
So I'm very keen. I've never seen Theo Agropoulos' films. So
Yeah, well,
it should be
I
interesting.
think this is
haven't
his
seen anything.
Neither have
I want to say his highest rated out of all of
Excellent.
them.
Okay,
Maybe
Is it in a
traveling
different language?
plays his heart. Yeah, it's Greek.
great. Yeah, okay.
But yeah, so I've seen Landscape in the Mist and absolutely fucking adore that.
It's like
movie.
one of your favorites. Isn't
Yeah,
it?
top 4.
Yeah.
Fucking love it. It's genuinely like amazing.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm like,
The description of Eternity in a Day is it's similar vibes.
well, yeah, I mean, story's different, obviously, but to me, it seems like it will be a.
Sweet.
I feel like his movies are probably all very that sort of. You gotta watch it, I guess, but yeah, I'm excited. I think it will be fun. I think it will be a lot to talk about because I think a movie like that.
A lot of depth.
Yeah.
A lot of symbolism.
Yeah.
Bit different from this podcast. Eh?
Yeah. Well, this episode did not have a lot of analysis.
No. It tried.
Well, Creed 3 is probably out. Somehow it was the deepest we went.
Yeah.
Ironically.
Well, with that, just as a summary, Fantasia, Creed 3, and Empire of Light. Go see Creed. Fantasia and Empire of Light. Up to you.
Yeah.
But there's parts in there that are worth watching.
If any of our conversations around any of these films has interested you in any way into seeking it out, we recommend it.
Yeah.
Just because we thought it was good or it was bad doesn't mean it necessarily is. So form your own opinions and go out there, watch some movies.
And
let us
keep
know
in,
what you
and keep in
think.
mind that in a lot of cases we are or can be harsh. So sometimes, yeah. I mean, Empire of Light, I'm sure a lot of people will love. Maybe
I know some
some
people
people
have. It
will
does only have
also
3.
not like it.
Average.
Yeah.
But
Divisive film.
yeah, I think that's the joy of film is that so much can happen with it.
If you are interested in what will be covered next month, you can go to our Letterboxd page and see all the films there. It'll be in our watch list. For
And
next month.
as always, all the links will be
Yeah.
in the description.
description.
Follow Instagram, TikTok, everything.
Yeah.
some.
Get
More
involved.
content to come. Exactly.
Get excited.
Yeah, keen. Like and subscribe, guys. Hope you enjoyed.
Don't stop fapping.
Don't stop. That's
Sorry.
that's with that, guys.
We won't be using that one again. We can't be going like fappers. Or, what would our like fan base be?
Fappers, I reckon.
Is it fappers?
Actually,
Fappers. I reckon
Yeah.
fappers. We gotta go with it. You know?
Well,
Hey,
Bit of
bro,
double entendre, but
like,
yeah.
steak.
bro,
Steaks.
did you fap last night? Fuck
dude,
yeah, I did.
you fap, we fap,
We
we
all
all fap.
And with that,
That,
remember,
guys,
we're here to share our love of films with you, and
we'll see you next time. Cheers.
see ya.